In the darkest depths of the universe, where cosmic forces are neither good nor evil, a great disturbance ripples through the fabric of existence. A cosmic anomaly is brewing, a rift opening in the balance between life and death, creation and destruction. The source of this disturbance is unknown, but its consequences are about to be felt on a scale no one could have predicted. For centuries, beings of unimaginable power have crossed paths with one another, engaging in battles that would reshape entire galaxies. But none were like the one that was about to unfold on Earth. On one side, an ancient, rage-fueled monster born from the twisted void of death itself, Doomsday. On the other, an entity from Earth, a relentless terror forged from science gone wrong and shape-shifting. Horrors, the Thing. The first rumblings of their clash began in the cold, desolate reaches of Antarctica. An unknown research station, hidden deep in the frozen tundra, had made a groundbreaking discovery, a creature encased in ice, resembling nothing that had ever been catalogued. This was no ordinary specimen. The scientists who found it were unaware that their actions would lead to their untimely demise. As the creature thawed and came to life, the station was torn apart in an instant. The horror unleashed was a being that could take any form, a creature with powers far beyond what human comprehension could fathom. The Thing had been awakened, free to wreak havoc and destroy anything in its path. Its first victims were the scientists who had foolishly brought it back to life. But the Thing's insatiable thirst for survival was about to take a new direction. Meanwhile, light years away, on a dark and distant world, a being of unimaginable destruction was stirring. Doomsday, the ultimate weapon of annihilation, had been born eons ago as a result of one of the most heinous experiments in the history of the universe, a being created for one purpose: to kill. Doomsday's origins are steeped in suffering and violence, his evolution shaped by countless battles and death, forever marked by the relentless desire to destroy. Over the years, he had faced and slaughtered countless enemies, adapting and evolving every time he was defeated, growing stronger with each battle. But this time, something was different. The very fabric of the universe trembled with an unsettling energy. Doomsday's primal instincts began to stir. He felt something new, an unknown presence on Earth, a creature capable of destruction unlike any he had faced before. This sent a chill through Doomsday's twisted psyche, a primal awareness that a challenge lay before him. Driven by his need to destroy, Doomsday's destructive path brought him crashing toward Earth. His arrival was marked by devastation, as his unstoppable force tore through the atmosphere, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. The Earth trembled as the sky darkened with the presence of a force that had no equal. The Thing, having terrorized the isolated research facility, had moved deeper into the frozen wilderness of the Arctic. It roamed, adapting and hunting, consuming whatever life it could find in its quest for survival. Its ability to shapeshift made it an unpredictable opponent. No one could anticipate its next move, and no one had the tools to stop it. But the earth-shattering impact of Doomsday's arrival drew the Thing toward him. For the first time in its existence, the Thing faced something that was not a mere predator. This was a being that did not fear death, a creature that embodied destruction. It could sense the chaos that Doomsday exuded, and instinctively, it moved toward him, curious about the monster who had descended from the sky. Both creatures born from unimaginable suffering, driven by a singular goal, destruction, would soon meet in a confrontation that would shake the world to its core. As the two creatures moved closer, the world seemed to hold its breath. The air grew heavy with anticipation, an invisible pressure building in the very atmosphere. The Thing, ever cunning and adaptable, began to stretch its tendrils of influence. It could mimic the powers of any life form it encountered, and it quickly began to take the shape of some of the most terrifying predators of Earth. Its mind raced, calculating the best strategy to face the imposing force that was Doomsday. But it was a strategy born from fear, not understanding. And then it happened. The first encounter was sudden and brutal. Doomsday, sensing the presence of the creature, attacked without hesitation. He launched himself at the thing, his immense strength causing the ground to crack beneath him. His fists, like meteors, slammed into the earth, sending shockwaves that rippled for miles. The thing, though adaptive, had never faced such raw, relentless power. It scrambled to survive, shifting and changing its form, growing tentacles, claws, and monstrous shapes. Trying to match Doomsday's fury, the battle was swift. The thing lunged, trying to ensnare Doomsday with its shape-shifting tendrils. But Doomsday's monstrous form was too powerful. With a roar, Doomsday ripped through the creature's mimicry, tearing into the alien flesh. But the thing, ever resourceful, healed quickly, reconfiguring its body into more dangerous forms. It became larger, more monstrous, as it adapted to Doomsday's attacks. Yet despite the thing's transformations, its strikes were futile against the brute strength and endless rage of Doomsday. Doomsday's blows rained down, cracking the thing's body and tearing apart its shape-shifting mass. But the thing was not defeated. It retreated, vanishing into the wilderness, taking on a new form, a monstrous, towering creature with jaws of steel and claws that could shred through the toughest of metals. It intended to return to the fight, but it knew now that it was facing a force unlike any it had ever encountered. For the first time in centuries, Doomsday paused. He sensed something, a subtle shift in the energy around him. The thing was adapting, learning, and in that moment, Doomsday realized that this fight would be unlike any other he had faced. The thing would not go down easily, and he would need to push beyond his usual limits to truly destroy this new foe. But the question lingered in his mind. Could the thing truly be destroyed, or would it continue to evolve and adapt, becoming an even greater threat? In the frozen wilderness, the stage was set for a battle that would test both creatures to their limits. Two unstoppable forces, born of destruction and horror, now stood on the precipice of an earth-shattering conflict. The battle for supremacy had begun, and neither would back down. For every step Doomsday took, the thing matched him with tenacity and ingenuity. It lashed out with tendrils that could melt steel, constricting around Doomsday's limbs, attempting to restrain him. Doomsday roared in fury, ripping through the tendrils with raw, brutal strength. His body crackling with energy as he unleashed a barrage of blows upon the thing's monstrous form. But the creature was not to be outdone. In one swift motion, the thing reformed into a massive armored beast, its outer layers thickened with bone-like plating. It charged once more, ramming into Doomsday's chest with the force of a meteor. The impact sent Doomsday stumbling back, his feet carving deep grooves into the icy ground. Doomsday staggered but did not fall. His rage only grew, and he responded with a vicious uppercut that shattered the thing's newly formed exterior. He followed up with a series of crushing blows, each one tearing through the creature's armor and flesh, reducing the thing's formidable shape into nothing more than a writhing mass of alien tendrils. But the thing, sensing the danger, was quick to adapt. It sprouted countless tendrils, wrapping them around Doomsday's limbs and pulling him into a constricting embrace. The thing's alien mass tightened, squeezing with inhuman force, attempting to crush the life out of the relentless destroyer. The pressure was immense. Doomsday's bones creaked. His muscles screamed in agony as the alien creature's grip tightened around him. For a moment, it seemed as though the thing's strength might be enough to bring down Doomsday. The monstrous form of the creature was everywhere, wrapping around him, constricting, squeezing, pulling. It was a living cage of pure horror, yet Doomsday's will was unyielding. His eyes glowed with a ferocity that could incinerate the stars themselves. With a deafening roar, he summoned every ounce of his immense strength and released a shockwave of pure destruction, blasting the thing's tendrils apart and sending the creature flying backward. The thing slammed into the ground with a sickening crash, its mass sliding across the ice, leaving behind a trail of bloody remnants. For a brief moment, It seemed as though the thing might be defeated, its body battered, broken, and scattered across the frozen landscape. But the thing was not done. It shifted, its body changing once again, becoming something even more monstrous. This time, it took the form of a gigantic, multi-headed beast with jaws large enough to swallow mountains. Its claws grew into massive talons capable of tearing through the earth itself. It roared, a sound so deafening that the very ground shook beneath it. The thing was adapting to every blow, learning, evolving faster than Doomsday could react. Doomsday snarled, anticipating the next move. With a single step forward, he unleashed a devastating punch to the thing's head. Cracking it open like an egg, the beast staggered but didn't fall. It fought back, launching a barrage of monstrous tendrils, each one aiming to pierce Doomsday's hardened skin. But Doomsday had had enough. With an earth-shattering roar, he unleashed his full power, his strength and rage combining into an unstoppable force. He barreled through the remaining defenses of the thing, his fists landing with the weight of collapsing mountains. Each strike shattered the thing's body further, reducing it to nothing but a mass of broken, twitching limbs and failing mutations. The thing attempted to regenerate one final time, but its body was too torn apart to adapt any longer. It squirmed, trying to reform, but it was clear the fight was over. Doomsday stood tall, his chest heaving with primal breath, blood and ichor dripping from his fists as the last remnants of the thing crumpled to the ground. With one last, earth-shaking roar, Doomsday crushed what remained of the thing's form beneath his massive boot, ensuring that nothing would rise again. He stood victorious, his body marked by the battle but unbroken. The battle was over, and Doomsday had emerged as the sole survivor. His adaptive foe had proven a worthy adversary, but in the end, the sheer, relentless force of Doomsday's rage, power, and regeneration proved too much for the thing to overcome. As the cold winds of the Arctic swirled around him, Doomsday stood alone, a monument to destruction. The thing had been vanquished, its shape-shifting ability no match for Doomsday's primal power and unstoppable force. The Earth was silent once more, its fate sealed by the clash of these two titans. The winner had been established, and it was Doomsday.